Sie hören Sport und Musik.
Das Spiel ist aus! Deutschland ist Weltmeister!
In a world where fans fight over whether to call it football, or soccer, two German men defy the odds and call it Fußball. Bringing you inside the German-American football experience. And now, here are your hosts, the Schnitzel Boys.
Here we are!
My God, yes! We are here. It's true.
Sorry, we're a couple minutes late. For Germans, we're not very
we were
timely.
chatting. We were chatting about camping and outside, and then it's like, whoa, 9 o'clock rolled around.
Yeah.
And it's raining here in New York. That really has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, but what's going on? Here we go. Schnitzel Boys. I found this Red Bulls podcast named Seeing Red.
Seeing Red, right?
Yeah, I recommended it to you. I thought I recommended it to you, Seba, didn't I? I'm the guy who responded to you in the chat about checking out Seeing Red if you're interested in the Red Bull. Yeah, that is the quintessential New York Red Bulls.
It's the podcast. OG. It's Mark Fishkin, right? It's
right. Mark Fishkin has been doing it for over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I remember its first episode. It started as a New York soccer podcast because the New York Red Bulls were the only team in the area at the time. Then came the women's team and the Cosmos and NYCFC. So like it spread. But originally it was just like the New York Soccer Roundup was the show. It was like New York Soccer. And Red Bulls was like the only thing they had. And then it became the official Red Bulls podcast, the OG podcast. The New York Red Bulls were supposed to be playing tonight, but apparently it's raining. What's going on over there? The gods are saying no. What's going on?
I've been pretty. I don't actually know. I've been in here for a while. I've been working. When I was out earlier today. It was very nice, but yeah. I guess it's raining now.
Philly,
I have no further updates.
When I went on Reddit like this morning, everyone's like, just postpone the game. Like apparently it's been raining up a storm since this morning. So much so they know that there was going to be no soccer game tonight. And sure enough, a couple hours ago, they announced the postponement. I assumed I'd be watching the New York Red Bulls playing the Philly Union right now, which was put me in a conundrum because I would be a very unfocused podcast host. I'd just be watching a game all day. But they postponed it for me so I can focus. Right now, I've got the New England Revolution Querétaro game on, so there is a game on. But I'm not super invested, so I just keep an eye on it. We got 2 Leagues Cup games today. There was one last night, the greatest game of all time.
The greatest game of all time. That was pretty good. That was a pretty good game.
And then there's 5 tomorrow, right, Seba? Yeah. I hope we destroy the Union.
I thought, I'll just, because it's kind of late. I was coming back from Vermont, and I thought, I'll check this. I watched this for a couple minutes and see how it goes. And hold on 1 second. Sorry. Turned the game on with sound. So anyway, it was hard. I didn't turn it off. I watched the whole thing. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, it was a great game. There have been some bangers in the day. People thought the LAFC Philly MLS Cup final was the greatest game ever played. I watched it. It was lovely. But I have a
it took a while to get going. It was not the greatest game for the whole time, but it definitely things happened at the end. Yeah.
I have a very sweet soft spot in my heart for the old San Jose LA Galaxy comeback super game from 2003.
Ah, yes.
And a lot of people still bring that up. I definitely do. But this game last night is definitely in with a shout. I mean, it could easily be. It's up there with the USA-Mexico game of 2021. The Leagues Cup, not Leagues Cup, the Nations League. So many different tournaments. The Nations League final where it was like so much happened. There was one where Christian Pulisic got that penalty and shushed the crowd. That was such a crazy game. I mean, during halftime, a guy stormed the halftime show and jumped over the railing.
Yeah. I remember.
And he could have been dead for all we
knew.
So
you're saying just the greatest game in America, or like?
I'm saying last night had those vibes. I was like, this is an amazing game. I'm watching a great game. because people are like, A, it's a hot night in Frisco, right? Can you do it on a rainy day in Stoke? Well, can Messi do it in a hot night in Frisco? For a while, it seemed like, no, he couldn't. But then he's
they
like,
were
no,
losing, yeah.
actually, I can. And he pulled it off. And then 2 crazy own goals, 2 great goals, Tanzanian refugee camp over and over again.
What happened, though, with that Dallas, the Dallas own goal was
the
like
greatest
up there. I mean, both of them were pretty amazing. I mean, the Robert Taylor one was amazing, where he came, forward. Robert Taylor comes back all the way, runs across the field to help his defenders, only to slide the ball into his own goal from a pretty poor Paul Arriola cutback.
Yeah, cross. He's not in the frame until
he was in a very good position, and then
really
didn't, and then just sort of laid it off in a very, kind of taking 80% of his XG off of this chance in one. But then, and then Robert Taylor slides it in. But
it's fun. Like, if you see it, it's just a bunch of like FC Dallas guys, right? It's Paul Arriola, and then it's a frame. It's rolling to nowhere, and the last minute you just see a sliding in Robert Taylor out of frame, just like sliding in, and completely redirects it and makes it unhaltbar, unholdable for the keeper for an own goal.
Yeah,
not to be outdone.
So that was clearly. I mean, that was sort of funny. What update? What's happening?
Querétaro just got a VAR goal.
We don't need to do play-by-play for the.
We'll just goal update, right?
All right, fine.
And
service, viewer and listener service. That's good.
Well, yeah. Anyway, and then the Michael Farfan goal. Oh my God, Leo Messi does this great cross, and Michael Farfan, the FC Dallas defender, is like, "This is my chance to score." This is my chance
to like. I mean, that really looks like what happened in his brain. He's like, it's gonna be. I on some level I know this is my own goal, but on the other hand, I'm gonna just fully commit to this because I'm never gonna get a cross like this again. Like,
you know what? I don't blame him. Do it. Go get it, man.
But that's what happened, right? Like, it's because clearly, if he just doesn't do anything, it just floats right past him. But
he's not surrounded by anybody. He's not surrounded by anybody. He's got all the time in the world. And it wasn't like deflected.
He doesn't have. I mean,
he slammed it right in the goal.
He doesn't have all the time in the world. I think that's not fair to say. But
he's not surrounded by opposing players.
But he's taking it. He's like, on some level, he decides, I'm going to give this all I have.
And he did. And more power to him. God bless him. I love it. Now, granted, it's why FC Dallas were eliminated last night. But hey, man, it reminds me of that scene in The Simpsons where, it's that thing where you go to the Super Bowl and then you meet Dan Marino and he throws you that pass and you're like a little boy, be like, wow, I'm getting a pass from Dan Marino. That's exactly what that was.
Yeah.
It was just,
I'm going to head it in. Messi's crossing it to me. I can't, I got to head it in.
And God bless them. They finished at 4-4, man. They finished at 4-4, they got him in the penalties. Paxton Pomykal, once the future of U.S. soccer, one of the many who has fallen quite down the tree, coming off the bench, just skying his penalty.
Yeah, he was not the only one. There were some American women doing the same earlier. In the day.
Jesus Ferreira losing a one-on-one. Right, like he had one-on-one the keeper, then he slowed down, and then Kamal Miller was able to.
Yeah, it's a little. I mean, I feel I had some mixed emotions. I gotta say. I mean, it is kind of, we're all. This is first of all. This is all must-watch stuff. Like, I completely agree. Like, this is good. Like I'm definitely all in, and this Leagues Cup that we didn't really know what it was. Like, it's definitely compelling. And Messi is a huge part of it, and he's been amazing. On the other hand, I also think, really, they're just gonna roll over everybody like that. Like, I would maintain, they're still a bad defense team. Now, this game could have even, like if not for Drake, what's his name?
Calendar.
Calendar, the goal.
Drake Calendar. Yeah.
He makes a lot of emergency stops for them.
Right. He's great.
There was an early one that got called back for offside, but the first shot that he saved was not offside. That would have counted. And so on the other, I feel like they're not going to just win every game, right? Miami from now on.
Well,
But
they
maybe
have
they
been,
will.
so your guess is as good as mine. I mean, this league is leading towards Inter Miami versus Club America like final. Be like, can Club America do it? And who knows?
They're playing Tigres next, right? That's going to be a big.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. It's built to be Inter Miami versus Liga MX or LAFC. That's what's built for. That's what they want.
Club America have not looked as good. In their subsequent games, they were amazing against St. Louis, but then since then, not as good. But they're still, probably still up there.
Well, I'd argue, the last Club America and Monterrey, their round of 32 games were almost photocopies of each other, and they proved that they both won a very controlled 1-0 match. Club America against Chicago, and Monterrey versus Portland. And they proved that they were a very tough nut to crack, and it had real CONCACAF Champions League vibes because the MLS teams were home. They had the ball over and over again, but for whatever reason, I felt they could have played for another 3 hours. They would never have scored a goal.
Would not have, yeah.
And they both had huge sitters that they missed, especially the Kasper Shibilko one. You see that?
Oh, yeah.
Wide open goal, 1-on-1, tie it up, missed it.
And then
what happened to Kasper Shibilko?
And then they scored on the reverse, basically. I mean, not right away, but yeah. No, that was crazy. And then Portland at the end, same thing. It was like rolling, 1-on-1, kick it in. He missed it. And the reason it gives me such CONCACAF Champions League vibes because sometimes it seems like MLS teams forget how to play soccer. They can't pass the ball. They can't kick it anymore all of a sudden. It's like, I don't remember this from league games. Just for whatever reason, when it's big moments against Mexican clubs, they can rile them up, and then their quality just lessens a little bit. I don't know. It just had very CONCACAF Champions League vibes where it's like, we're definitely going to win this game. We're in charge. It's only 1-0, but you guys are never going to score. And that's what both those games felt like. And I thought to myself, how is MLS going to compete with that? And I believe they're playing each other next. So one of them I think it's Club America versus Monterrey, right? Isn't that the... Oh, is it? Oh, I said Tigres, but...
maybe,
I could be... no, you're probably right. Yes, you're right. Tigres, Monterrey. Club America is playing Nashville.
Oh, well, it's Tigres and Monterrey then. But essentially, I'm just how are we going to knock them out? And it's like, they just pit them against each other. So they can knock each other out. It helps us out a little bit. We have LAFC and RSL. Tigres versus Monterrey. Toluca versus Minnesota. Toluca has won their last 3 games 4-0. So Toluca's on a secret little tear.
But those are the America, Tigres, and Monterrey and Chivas. Those are the big ones.
Chivas is gone. You mean Toluca, right? Or Tigres? Right. Sorry, it sounded like you said Chivas. You mean Tigres?
Yeah. No, I meant I meant Tigres. Yes.
Yeah, and those are the big tough nuts to crack. And like I said, in Toluca, who's secretly been having the best record of all of them. And the game right now, Querétaro was the poorest performing team, but they're leading now in the 54th minute. New England's handling them. And one of the many topics I want to talk about tonight is Bruce Arena. But we'll set them aside for now. And I still want to...
Wait, do you know...
FC Dallas and
Do we know anything? Do we know anything?
No, that's part of what I want to talk about. Nobody knows anything, including Bruce Arena, apparently. He also doesn't know what's going on. And I'm very curious what's going on. I believe everybody is. I know what Robert Kraft did. He hasn't got an administrative leave. I know what he did, the owner of New England Revolution, but I don't know what Bruce Arena did. Anywho, let's go back to Inter Miami FC Dallas. Let's give it the time it needs.
Okay.
So crazy game. Inter Miami won. You're right. They're a machine, but it's freaking Jordi Alba, Busquets and Leo Messi. I mean, they're a machine ready to go. What are you going to do about that? MLS defenses are notoriously not the best. And every game, people are like, oh, well, but FC Dallas is a bad defense. every team has a bad defense. I don't know who's supposed to not fall that category. And if you ask me, are they going to win every game? I mean, maybe, Bjorn. I don't know, man. FC Dallas is up by 2 goals. They were supposed
possible,
to win.
yeah, and they scored 4 and couldn't win. Yeah, it's yeah, I think we'll see what happens. It is I mean, it is an exceptional. It's just because not only is there Messi, I mean, first of all, good for him that he brings along people, like he doesn't think, oh, I'm just going to do, he understands, even though he's the greatest player that's ever played, he knows he's not going to do it on his own. It's not like he knows he is part of a, he's part of a team. So he brings his friends along. I mean, that's amazing. Can you, and they're like, yeah, sure. We'll come. Can you imagine Ronaldo? People don't like go out of their way to be on Ronaldo's team. It's like, so that's, I find that pretty remarkable. Now they get other talent. This kid that came off the bench.
Yeah, the new Gomez. Well, no, he started. Talking about Gomez, the new guy they got.
No, he looked good too. Kremashi.
Kremashi, the 18-year-old or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, he's also a new arrival, right? Who also
he's a homegrown.
He's okay.
He's an 18-year-old homegrown.
So they're finding other help, and everybody, he makes everybody around him better. Like Robert Taylor,
right? Who was Robert Taylor before?
Looks totally I didn't know who he was. And so there is a
Joseph Martinez.
There is a magic to it, and it is pretty cool. It's pretty cool to watch, like to see him transform this shitty team into perhaps a contender.
Yeah, his off-field behavior has been excellent. Like his first game, he dedicated to Sebastian Frey, or whatever his name was, for a guy that nobody knows, the 20-year-old who got his third ACL tear. And you see a video of Ronaldo throwing a bottle of water at the ref or something. Like he's a whiny little baby. Where Leo Messi, on the other hand, you hear that he's like a soccer machine. He's a soccer savant, and he's the captain. He's acting like it. He is very supportive, apparently. There's that story where, like, on his opening game on the WhatsApp, someone's like, I need 4 tickets. And he was on the WhatsApp. He's like, you got it. I'll take care of it. Like, he's like being a captain. And, he brought, it's Barcelona rides again. This was the 2008 Barcelona team was one of the best clubs of all time. And their core trio is, like, riding again, but in Miami. And, like, we get to enjoy it.
It is, but I think that's just... like you said, I think that's just remarkable that there is this, he understands that it's not just, he's the best player of all time, right? But he understands he's only the best player as part of a collective, of a fabric. And that's pretty cool.
A team. Yeah. In addition to his individual skill, he's just an ultimate team player. So it's like he's 2-2. And, the opposing players like Quinones and Velasco are young Argentinians. And he smiled at them, hugged them. They changed jerseys afterwards. He gets it. He's like, he understands everything. He's like the Messiah. He knows who he is, and he's just seemingly, seemingly doing it right. He's like, even though they got beat, they still laughed it off. Took a pic. Everyone all the FC Dallas players lined up to get their Messi selfies that he did. Everyone gets it. The other part of him bringing people, Bjorn, is we saw the Messi effect in full effect. And I think what we're about to see, which I guess I wasn't really expecting, is that every game he plays, it's not MLS fans, it's not home team fans, it's probably not even Argentinian fans. It's just a whole bunch of Messi fans.
It's just people.
Everywhere he's going to go, it's going to be like 3/4 to 100% Messi fanboys cheering on Messi
and
by himself almost.
wildly random celebrities, all of that,
right?
Yeah, but the Dallas fans came out and you could hear them support their team. It's gonna bring everybody's level up a little bit.
I just find it like that was not Beckham. Beckham didn't do that. He had a little bit of that effect, but
this is the thing. This is why people saying like, "Oh, this is the blueprint for future or whatever." This is a unique. This is not a. This is a unicorn. This is a unicorn kind of thing. We'll never see this kind of thing again.
Enjoy the moment. It is so surreal
Yeah.
to see Jesus Ferreira against like Leo, like to be like DeAndre Yedlin to Jordi Alba to Messi. It's like such a bonkers.
It's funny. Yeah.
Like worlds are colliding. It's like
Mhm.
holy crap that they're on the same field. Jesus Ferreira missed. Now it's Sergio Busquets. You know, it's like such a merging of the worlds.
Sebas S thinks that if the Red Bulls signed Ronaldo, it would be packed out the stadium, and NYCFC fans would become Red Bulls fan again. I don't think I would not. I would not. I would not. I would not convert if Ronaldo signed for the Red Bulls. I'm one person who would.
Well, Ronaldo to Red Bulls makes a lot of sense simply because the Red Bulls could never capture the huge Portuguese community that they live in. And Ronaldo would connect both worlds. He'd bring all the Euro snobs in, and he'd bring the Portuguese in. No, they'd be a great signing off the field. But yeah, on the field, who knows? We'll see. I mean, Ronaldo aged pretty poorly, and Messi seems timeless. And like you said, enjoy the unicorn. Just enjoy it while it lasts. It's happening now. It's going to be weird and bonkers and stuff, but it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, and when he retires, it's going to go back to the way the league was. I mean, there's no one else.
We're going to go back to right,
and maybe we'll bring some Euro snobs with us, Bjorn. Isn't that the idea? Bring them along, huh? But let's play some chat catch-up. Going all the way up, Hans Wolf is by JFK. A lot of pouring rain. That's why I asked. Hans, you said you're near JFK. Are you leaving, or are you just hanging out? Are you at JFK Inn, your favorite hotel?
Well, he does. He brings. Right?
Travel,
he's like he's a travel guy.
Let's see. I hope we destroy the Union. Me too. We'll talk about that game.
One thing we can agree on, right, is that we don't like the Union.
No. However, I believe that even though the Red Bulls won the game, all it did is buy us 4 more days. I think the Philly Union's the end of our road. I hope we win, Sebas. I'm with you. But no, Philly Union, which we call the Worms, do what we do way better. As much as I hate to admit it, Philly Union is what the perfect New York Red Bulls would be. They do what we do, but they do it better because they got Ants Tana doing it.
They have a little bit, and they have a little quality.
They're their own team. They're not a world global youth frame. You know what I mean? They're not built just to send people to Leipzig. They're built to be their own team.
You're right. I mean, it's interesting you say that because it's true. It's like and they're similar in I've had that feeling with them that I've had also with the Red Bulls the last couple of games or so, where it's like we should beat these guys, but somehow we don't. Like there is some they are better than the sum of their parts.
Yeah, they're doing what we're doing, but better. Like they're like, we're not going to spend money on big players. We're going to have a lot of youth, which is what every club should be doing. They do a really good job at that. And we're going to mix some good veterans in there, like Alejandro Bedoya, and some good European veterans, like Kai Wagner. And there was Kasper Shabilko. It's why he's been stinking up in Chicago, but he crushed it at Philly. Like there's something about how they do it right that's like they're doing it right over there in Philly. So as much as I know that they are my enemy, I have a lot of respect for them. So I do not predict the Red Bulls to handle Philly well tomorrow. I hope they do, Seba S. I'm a fan.
I guess
but my brain says Philly's going to get that one. I think.
That was the thing. That was the thing that was the what's the term I'm looking for? The thing, the positive to focus on after losing to you guys was now we don't have to play Philly on the road again, which that's always agonizing. Yeah, I mean that game sucked from our perspective. It was a lot like the other game that was on my birthday. It was like, why can't we get it together? We were bad. We were very bad on Wednesday, the blue team.
Yeah. Let's do a little chat catch up and hop right into the game here. So, Stefan, do you consider DC United as the biggest rival in NYCFC? I think these days it's NYCFC. The I-95 rivalry has kind of died down a little bit. There hasn't been much between us for the last few years. I remember the big games. I was there in the Snow Fest when DC United eliminated us. Nick De Leon used to come off the bench and knock us out. We were the only team he would score against, and and Mike Pecky, one of our legends, won his only cup with them, which was weird. And but I think these days it's got to be the Hudson River Derby. Don't you think, Bjorn? That's probably the bigger rivalry.
From well, I don't know. From our
perspective, I
sure.
would say yes. Some depends who you ask. Some of them are old timers, still think DC.
Yeah, DC.
And you mentioned
DC,
the Chicago Fire.
What is the rivalry? DC has done nothing
between us and them.
Yeah,
it goes back to day one. It goes
right.
one,
but like over the last few years,
right?
They haven't made the playoffs.
Back in the day, they knocked us out of the semifinals when Mike Pecky was coach, and that was probably the last time we had a meaningful match between us. And that's pre Jesse Marsh, so that's been 4 or 5 seasons. So that's whereas NYCFC is a little bit more of a thing. Although this year, anyway, we'll talk about that in a bit. Anyway. Chicago Fire versus New England was a rivalry. I do not remember that being a rivalry. I'm trying to think, was that ever a rivalry? I did not know that. Red Bulls play Inter Miami and be happy to see Messi score. 100%. Nico Estevez, the FC Dallas coach, said, if there's a free kick in the attacking third, for Leo Messi, it's a penalty kick. For everybody else, it's a free kick. For whatever reason, any free kick close to the attacking third, for Messi, it's like a penalty kick.
That was a pretty sick free kick.
I know, one of many he's already done. It was a great free kick. Red Bulls have a good defense. Well, I mean, relatively, I guess. We talked about Ronaldo. How much are you going to pay to watch Red Bulls Toronto? As little as possible. $15. $15 is my price range. Somebody got that right. $50 for a good seat. Maybe if it's the
free chicken tenders.
The free chicken tenders, definitely. Playoff game, New York Red Bulls versus Cincy. Attendance was 17K, which was bad for a playoff game. Wait a minute. Hold on. What do we got here? Am I being corrected here? The attendance was 17K, which was really bad for playoff game. You said it was 5K in the New York is Dying video. It was very paltry. What I will say is, Sebastian, the league inflates its attendance numbers. It's the only league in the world that does it. They announce tickets sold. That includes tickets that they've given away. The actual head count of people in the stadium was always going to be less. And that game last year, and Bjorn, do you remember it? It was an empty stadium. There's no way 17,000 people were there. There's no. I
don't know. I wasn't there. Yeah, we had on Wednesday,
but it was not a lot.
On Wednesday, I think they said 11,000, which
is not true. I think it was 8,200 is what I heard, or something like that.
Oh, interesting. Okay, maybe I'm mixing it up. Yeah, it was not. But it was not super packed.
Not a great attendance, right, for the NYCFC Red Bulls game. We could talk about that now, right? You were there, but
I was. Yeah, I had great seats. I had great seats for.
It was a third full, right? Pathetic.
$40. Yeah, it was not. I mean, there was some. Yeah, there were some people there. I mean, there were more people there than when we had a home. There were more of our people there than when we had a home game against Toronto. That's sort of that weird schizophrenic thing of our fan base. That if we have a home game at Red Bull Arena, they don't go. But if it's an away game, then they will go. So we had some more people. It was. No, the vibes were pretty good. I thought there was definitely some. Both sides were loud. It wasn't super packed, but it was. There was some intensity there. We just sucked, unfortunately.
Yeah, Sebas, were you there on Thursday? Bjorn, tell me everything. There was some unpleasantness after. There was some unpleasantness after the match. Seems there's always unpleasantness after the match.
Yeah, I heard different accounts. You said that NYCFC fans
they pulled out knives, yeah. And then there was a report today that Red Bulls fans, apparently the Hacienda 96, attacked the third rail. But that was after NYCFC fans pulled out knives. So
it was our fault.
Well, it doesn't. It's both faults. It was, why are fans pulling out knives? A, why is anybody fighting? B, it's ridiculous. There's only 8,000 people there. Relax. But you know whose fault it really is the fact that they never ever dismiss fans differently. The way it should be done is the home fans stay still while the away fans leave, and then 45 minutes later, the home fans then get released. Or
No,
vice versa.
this does happen for the supporters. This does happen when you get tickets for NYCFC anyway. I don't know how other teams do it, but when you buy supporters section tickets for away games, they keep you there like a half an hour after.
Is that what happened on Thursday?
Well, I was not in the supporter section. I had tickets. I just bought tickets on the free market. So I don't know. But usually, yeah, always. Usually and I think, but then people can wait, people can just wait outside the stadium if they want to tussle.
I guess. I don't know what happened. There was just fighting, and apparently Harrison PD has to do an investigation. Yeah. But all I know is it's not worth it. Like, who's bringing knives? Leave your knives at home. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Just watch the game, and you win 1-0, you lose 1-0, whatever. Shake your hand, drink a beer, and be like, we'll get you next time.
Well, we're having a bad season. Our fan base is not used to that, and people are getting tense. People are getting tense.
We're having a worse season.
Well, you won that game.
Our club is dying. I know, but our club is dying. And at home, we couldn't have more than 8,000 people in the stands. So have some mercy, will you?
Well, it wasn't me. I did not bring any weapons. This was one of those, I'm not a fair weather fan. I'm always happy to be there. I usually find things to be interested in, and often positives to take away. This was not one of those. This game just left me. I guess a factor for just my personal situation was that I was supposed to go to Vermont that night, and I let my wife take the car, and I was like, I'm going to watch the game and take the train tomorrow, and I felt a little sheepish about that decision afterwards. I was like, I would have been better off going to Vermont,
driving up,
and sitting this one out. But it was just from our perspective, just a very and I think it was sort of similar to the one in May, where it was just like, I thought we did the hard parts sort of. I know we were texting and you saw it differently, but I thought that we played through the press pretty well, especially on the defensive end. It's just that then our attacking midfielders just could not do anything. There was just nothing clicked ever. Like, people had a hard time just receiving the ball, and I thought our first half was better than the second. At least there were some moments of coherent passing, whereas in the second half we just had nothing. We were just until the very end. I guess there was some. Once Thales Magno came in, he had some moments. There was, I don't know, from your perspective, were you a little worried we would score at the end, or not so much?
No, not really. I mean, what I find funny about this game, and I think that's why we have two different perspectives on it, is that the way we play, we would love for the opposing team to have the ball. The way you play is you would love to keep the ball.
Yeah.
Right? Am I wrong or am I right? So, in a way, I think the reason we have two different perspectives on it is because both of our teams are playing into how we want to play.
Well, and you're saying, right, and when the result goes your way, then you're like, well, 4D, we had them just where we wanted them. But we
were playing with very high energy. I'm talking more from a Rebels perspective. Under Troy, he sort of revved us up a little bit more. We've also lost some key players like Christian Caceres and Lewis Morgan's out all season, and and for our young squad of Obscurios and homegrowns, they get together and they've reinvigorated themselves to play a really peppy high press again. Yeah, and they play like they care. And
the press is the press is good. The press is good again. That's definitely true.
Yeah, I know. And against you guys, I saw that. So you guys hold the ball, but we hopped on you, and when right. So we want to overturn it in your defensive third, and we did that, and that's how we got a penalty.
But I mean, it was obviously a penalty, but it was sort of out of nothing. It's not like
it's not out of nothing.
This was.
we do high press to make you do mistakes in your defensive third, like James Sands having to run back and slide tackle Luquinhas. So like it's not that's from the philosophy of ours. We make that happen. However, we
Right.
still can't score goals in open play. So like we
Well,
got
and
our
it's
penalty and we
also,
held strong
if
and then we
we
got out of
like, if we get, yeah, no, I mean, I'm not gonna argue with you because the results, the recent results are unambiguous. So we just can't, I think the point that I'm trying to make, which I'm not sure if it's even worth making, but anyway, my sort of positive takeaway of the first half is like, the hardest part is to get through that first line of press.
Right.
And that's obviously where a lot of things can go wrong. And they did that one time. But in general, I felt like we were handling that fairly well. And our defenders were pretty brave and got through that first line. And then and then we would get stuck, like we would dribble into traffic or like get stuck when the numbers were much more favorable to us in the, towards the middle of the field or the attacking half of the field, like where there was more space, we would do more poorly, which I guess that was frustrating to me. It's because it's like, once you get through that first wave, ideally you have a little room and you can make stuff happen. And we just never did. And,
well, our defense is tight, to credit Seb. Carlos Coronel, great keeper, and then Andres Reyes.
Carlos Coronel did nothing. He had nothing. What did he do? He did nothing. Did he have a save?
Well,
did we get a shot on goal? No.
No, you guys never penetrated Nealis or Reyes. We have so our answer to that is we have a tight defense built for that too. So overall, our philosophy played well today during that game.
Yeah,
so
but I guess that's where Philly. That's where it's like you say tomato, I say tomato. You say your defense, I say our attack was shit. And you say your defense is great. Who knows?
Maybe 50-50. How about that? Yeah. New England just got an equalizer live, so it's now 1-1. Go New England.
So what happened with Bruce Arena? You talk about Bruce Arena.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing I would say with the New York Red Bulls is against Philly, they play like we play, except they're better at it. Right. So it's versus NYCFC, I feel a little better because it's like, good, they're going to have the ball. We know them. It's going to play into our hands, which is what we did on Thursday. But when we go down to Philly, it's like, nah, they do us, but a little bit better than us. Not that they're smarter than us. It's just that they have more of a veteran presence and they have a deeper roster.
And they have a little bit more quality. Offensively, right? Probably
they have more quality, exactly.
Yeah,
and they're going to be at home too. So add that together, it's going to be a much tougher game. And despite us winning on Thursday, like I said, I think it only bought us 4 days, which is tomorrow. So we'll see. I hope we win.
No, you got no belief.
No, we can
we'll
win.
See.
It's MLS. It's 50-50. But like,
this is where I mean, and that's usually this has always been the setup in this rivalry with our team and your team. It's always, you come with the press, you come with intensity, and we have to have a little quality to beat that. Obviously, you have to match the intensity, and then, beat it not by out pressing, but like by having a little bit of quality. And these were always, and they're always tight. I mean, more often tight games. We had a couple of, there was that one, like the Tati scored like 4. When was it? That was anyway, but usually they're pretty tight games. And then it's like one moment, like last Tati at Red Bull Arena scored that one goal for a 1-0. Haber at Yankee Stadium getting that little heel. It's like there's always one moment is enough to make a difference. And we never had it.
Yeah. When we got Tom Barlow coming down 1-on-1, no one's scared of that.
That guy sucks.
No quality there.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just puzzling. Like we brought, I said that last time. I would not trade him for Gabe Siegel. And our new forward, Bakrar, after having a great game against Toronto, was out on an island and was sort of making, dismissive gestures to his teammates. I did not enjoy seeing that, but we'll see.
That's
We'll
not
see how
very.
that goes.
That's not very messy. Like
No, he saess his favorite player is Ronaldo, so
screw him.
he's doing
We
that.
can go to Saudi Arabia.
We're not giving up on him yet. He had one good game, one bad game. We signed a crap load of players. I don't even know all their names yet. We have signed 2 wingers officially. One is supposedly coming. Maxi Morales is coming back. We have the new center back that we haven't seen yet. We have 3 or 4 highly touted new signings that are presumably arriving, and so there's stuff to watch, but we're running. It's getting late early this year. We're not gonna. I don't think. I'm not having a ton of optimism.
We have 2 signings, baby. The New York Red Bulls signed a second signing on the deadline day. We have not 1, but 2 19-year-old obscure Colombian youth internationals joining the team. And those are the 2 pieces necessary to make the soccer machine complete. We are now invincible. We have some dude. We signed a young Colombian dude named Cabeza, which means head. We signed him from Watford, where we got Ashley Fletcher, our last miss of many obscure misses. And he scored 3 goals in his professional career, which means saddle up, baby. He's going to be on a tear in MLS. I mean, if he scores 3 goals in the Colombian second division, then, I mean, I don't know who. Ooh,
watch out!
Watch out, baby! Watch out, baby!
Well, he was. I should say people's names. We have Julian Fernandez, Argentinian winger. We have Alonso Martinez, Costa Rican forward, not necessarily winger. He has. I
saw that. Yeah.
He's 24. He's not a child. He has 14 appearances for the Costa Rica national team. So, I don't know. We'll see. And then we have Bakra already said we have Burke Risa, who we haven't seen, the center back. And then there's we have the loaner from Philly that we haven't seen. And we're waiting for one more winger, I heard, who's also
la-di-da. Look at you and all your multiple player signings.
Well, but is it going to make a difference? I don't know. It's like we got 10 freaking games left. This is like, where were all these guys 3 months ago?
Over in Jersey, we sign nobody. We're just like, whoever's around is on the team. Those are Jersey rules. If you played for a youth squad, boom, you're our captain next week. Boom. You know what I mean? That's how we do it over in Jersey. So, la-di-da with your scouting and your player signing. If I didn't know any better, I would say that the whole point, all of our players are 19, first of all. I'm just like, why are we a freaking U20 team? Anyway, I know our U20 team because they're just farming them to see if one of them can hit for Leipzig. If that didn't used to be clear, they're making it extra clear these days, which is why a lot of Red Bulls fans have had enough. And I'm kind of this is my collective sigh of like, well, what are you gonna do? They're trying. Anywho, that game happened. Hans Wolf in the chat. I wasn't there.
Hans Wolf has some insight on this fighting controversy.
That's right. He grew up on the New York City street rules. When more than one knife comes out, it's super rare for things to escalate. I call BS. Both sides are lying little bitches. Yeah, I'd buy that. I think it's a bunch of people whining, going on social media. All I know is that behavior needs to stop. Even the lying. It's like no fight, no violence, guys. No violence. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. Just have a good time. We're out. It's summertime. You're outside.
Just everybody have fun and get along.
Everybody have fun and get along, right? There's no Euro snobs there. Fight. If you're gonna stab anybody, stab a Euro snob. All right, at least one.
Oh boy.
I take that back.
Some of my best Euro snobs are friends, Stefan.
I know some of your best friends are Euro snobs.
I did that on purpose.
So, I know. Me too. I got plenty of Euro snob friends, and also some South America snobs and some Mexico snobs, all sorts of snobs. Anywho, both sides are lying. The signing is going to make team best MLS again. Exactly.
Your 2 Colombians are going to crush it.
Yeah, he's like, these two players are going to bring our average.
Well,
10 to
we have
21,000 again.
we have a few people coming that are on paper are legit, but it's like it's now really is. I guess this is part of the League's Cup weirdness that we now only have 10 games left. Like this is not we're not halfway through the season. We are much more than halfway through the season. So this is like this is not gonna, these
You've got 3 weeks off
we
to
don't
practice.
but there's not a lot of time. And usually these international signings, they don't like get off the plane and start killing it. They always need a little time. So I still think we're not going to make the playoffs, but there will be interesting things to watch. We have 7 home games out of the last 10, so we'll definitely get a lot of chances to watch these people.
That's good. That's good.
Now tell us what you know about Bruce Arena. Come on now.
Nothing. There was a big Athletic article, and they said that nobody
knows anything.
Bruce doesn't know.
He said something. We don't know what he said. We don't know to whom he said it.
The only reason there wasn't a statement to begin with, MLS had to release a statement. They said Bruce Arena's on administrative leave pending investigation. That's all they said. The only reason they did that is because Athletic heard it, and they were about to write an article, so they got in front of it. If Athletic didn't hear something, they would never have released a statement. And typical Apple TV state-run media, they're ignoring it in its entirety. They're like, nothing happened, actually. Move on, please. The Apple
So
analysts.
they did not acknowledge why Bruce Arena's not there, and they never.
Today at the beginning of the game, I listened very closely, and they just said, "There's Richie Williams filling in for Bruce Arena," and that's all they said, and they moved on. No one on the broadcast said.
Well, I guess there's nothing. Nobody has anything to say because nobody knows anything.
Yeah, but if this were a real broadcast, if it was an independent broadcast, they'd be like, by the way, Bruce Arena, the most winningest coach in MLS history, is on administrative leave, and no one knows why. Quite the mystery. It's bizarre. Like they'd say that out loud, wouldn't they? It's part of the story. I'm going to go another rant here, but what do I always say? Offer us the full story. They like to cut stuff out. Anyway, Gustavo Bo came out saying the players, including Gustavo Bo or maybe Carlos Gil or both, are coming out saying they've never heard Bruce Arena say anything inappropriate. And people that know him and fans alike are like, what? That's not like Bruce. Like, what the heck is going on? And then, according to the Athletic article, Bruce doesn't even know what's going on. He doesn't know. And there was that recent funeral with that player who's, I don't know the story, but Brad Knighton, who's a Revolution player, a former player. Right. I believe his daughter passed away or so, or his wife or something. Something sad happened. Bruce Arena was at the funeral. All the executives were there. They were all there. He didn't know. No one said anything. No one knows. What I do know, though, Bjorn, is this. This is what I know. I know that New England Revolution is owned by Robert Kraft. Robert Kraft ran a child prostitution ring in Florida in 2019. Now, the only reason he's not arrested is because the cameras that caught him doing the act were illegal cameras. So his very expensive lawyers got the case thrown out, specifically because all the evidence, which very clearly put Robert Kraft in charge of an underage prostitution sting in Florida, a hotel in wherever it was, Clearwater or whatever. The evidence capturing it was illegal. Case dismissed. He got off scot-free. I know that. That I do know. Do you think that Bruce Arena, what he said, is worse than what his owner actually did and got away with? That's my question to you, is all I'm going to say. What do you think? I don't know. What do you think? Which one was worse? Not knowing the facts. Which one do you think is worse?
Well, I don't think Bruce Arena is running a child prostitution ring.
His boss is, by the way, the one that put him on administrative leave. I just want to make that clear. But no, you're right. We don't know what Bruce Arena said. So
we don't. Well, Arena. It's like, you can only. Well,
whatever happened, I would sign with Bruce. I don't care. I don't know what happened. I don't care.
You side with Bruce. You don't know.
I don't care because I'm on Team Bruce.
Wow. All right.
If I'm Toronto FC right now, I would want to hire him right now. Be like, just go quit. Whatever's happening, we don't care. Quit. Come work for us. We need to fix us. Like, I would hire that dude. He's the best coach in MLS. One of them. Definitely.
All right. You said that about Bob Bradley too.
Yeah, Bruce and Bob. It was not since they fired Bob Bradley. Did Toronto get worse or better, Bjorn? They got way worse.
They got worse.
Way worse. Way worse.
That's not really. That's
Fountas?
not exactly an endorsement, but okay. Taxi Fountas. And he
was caught saying the N-word a second time, although he handed in a polygraph test. Did you see that?
I heard about it. I don't want to I didn't dig into it. This is just stupid stuff.
Anyway, bye Taxi.
You just You
guys, contract terminator. He's going away because he got away with it once. Dante Van Zier, who did way less, got a much bigger punishment. And then now he did it a second time, and it's like bye-bye. And it wasn't even MLS, had nothing to do with it. The league just mutually, they just finished it like goodbye. And DC United's having all sorts of problems.
Don't, public service announcement here, totally not related to soccer. Polygraphs don't work.
Yeah, people
can beat. You can learn to beat a polygraph.
As a guy who loves true crime, plenty of people think they can and don't. However, like you said, it's possible to be that, which is why it's not admissible in court. Also, he was in charge of his own polygraph. He didn't go to a neutral site. He had a private one done by himself. So, but anyway,
he used the polygraph app on his phone.
He used Apple Polygraph or whatever. But that's not the only thing DC United
polygraph.
Did. That's I polygraph. Yeah, it's next to the heart. It's next to the heart rate monitor app or whatever. It's like 40 steps, truth verification app, and then a dieting app. Those are the three. That's all the essentials. DC United. That's not the only problem they've had. They had to fire one of their staff members for doing a white supremacist symbol in the team photo.
Oh my god!
They did. It's this childish game.
The world is crazy.
World is great. With DC United, they're cleaning out house. They're doing their thing. All is not great at DC. Wayne Rooney's got to do some cleanup out there after this all happened around their great All-Star performance. And there you go. We got Querétaro, New England going into penalties. So many penalties. Speaking of penalties.
So many penalties.
I'm thinking with Leagues Cup, it's lovely. I'm looking for the round of 16. I can't wait. It's been a fun little tournament despite the attendances being so weird. And do you have any last sort of thought? Oh,
well, we got to talk about the ladies.
Yeah, I was going to say of Leagues Cup before we move to the ladies. Let's do one or two. I want to do one or two Leagues Cup observations, and then we'll move to the ladies. Yeah.
One or two. Oh, you got more Leagues Cup observations? Let's hear.
Just big ones. Thumbs up. Me as a one. The Messi effect is going to be weird because the Messi crowd is a thing. It's just going to be wherever he goes, there's a bunch of Messi fanboys. I've never seen someone like that before. His following is unreal, so that's one. Two, it shows a clear gap between the Mexican haves and the Mexican have-nots. What I've seen MLS clubs are way more level, like they're way more on parity, where the Mexican clubs are very much the big ones and the small ones.
Which, I mean, that's, we knew that.
We knew that, but it's extra clear. Someone released a graphic where it's like,
very much,
someone released a graphic where it's one of the big teams had like the equivalent of 13 of our DPs, just the way they pay their players, And
it's like Bayern and it's Bayern and Bochum,
right?
And more like, right.
However, like Club America is a good example. They went to Chicago. They played in their old stadium. It was 80% Club America fans. Again, surreal. And the Club America team was Jonah Dos Santos. It was Alejandro Zendejas. And it was Brian Rodriguez, who just finished playing for 3 years at LAFC. Mm-hmm. And Jonah Dos Santos, who was the Galaxy holding mid also for 3 years. So it's not like their players are the best players in the world. It's a lot of MLS guys, a lot of guys we know.
But it's just a more they have more quality, from top to bottom.
Yes, and I'm wondering if the pressure of the day-to-day of being in a big club like Club America with the promotion and the relegation and the stakes, just puts a little bit more pep in their step. Their players are always ready to go a little bit more when it comes to big games. Because I'm seeing MLS players miss sitters and stuff, where Mexican club players are more on point with their moments. They're like, there's less margin for error. And I'm wondering if that is related to the effect of coming from a league where every minute matters. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, they did pause relegation in Liga MX for the last
True, for
couple.
3
It's not
seasons,
like
yeah.
it's not quite the same. But
But the pressure is higher
yeah,
with the
yeah.
media
I think
and
that's fair to say. Yeah.
so I'm not so my observation is like their players aren't individually way better than ours. It's just they come from an environment of a much higher pressure cooker where their perfection performance is more punishable. Like there's come from a place where they have to be on their A game more, and it creates a behavior where they make less mistakes. That's my other observation.
Interesting. I mean, I guess we'll get more opportunities to check that out as this tournament progresses.
Right. And I guess those are my big Leagues Cup observations. Do you have any
All
final
right.
thoughts? We talk about the ladies.
That's it. The ladies can't. Well, yeah. Let's talk about the ladies. Did you watch that game? I watched a lot of that game.
I watched the Germany game and I watched the USA game, the USA Sweden game.
Oh yeah.
Both broke my heart. Germany
It was
ladies are
pretty sad.
Germany ladies are Wegfenster, out of the window, or in English, defenestrated. That's an English term. You ever heard that term?
That sounds pretty dirty. I don't know.
That's an SAT word. Defenestrated means you're thrown out of a window.
Ah.
That's English for that's literally English for Wegfenster. The German ladies were eliminated early. We have this new German soccer culture where our teams can't make it out of the group stage all of a sudden. I don't know where that came from.
Well, I mean, I think the German ladies were not. It was kind of that first game against Morocco was so dominant that it kind of. But they were not favorites. They were not thought of as very competitive necessarily, right? The German ladies.
Yeah, no, they were favorites to win the whole thing.
They were.
Yeah, not like the ultimate favorites, but they were favorites. They were good.
Well,
no, they were a good team.
It seemed like they were tactically a little undercooked,
yeah,
maybe. I don't know.
They were very inflexible, but isn't that they wanted to walk the ball in the goal over and over again? It's like, you ladies, you're a foot taller. Just start kicking them in a little bit. They never did
I think this is sort of what I mean, from the little bit that I've seen, I haven't seen a whole lot, but it just seems like there's just not as much. And I think the same for the American team. It's like they used to just sort of bully their oppositions into submission by being just so much more intense, so much better individually. And that's just no longer. David Riccio was telling me that
they're ranked number
Germany
2.
were number 2 going into the tournament. I guess it's just me. I had no confidence.
They were supposed to win this tournament. I was looking forward to them winning this damn tournament, and they couldn't get out of the group. Yeah, they couldn't get out of the group. They had the quality to do it. They opened the group by beating Morocco 5-0, and Morocco got out, and Germany were eliminated. Doesn't that blow your mind?
Yeah,
blows my mind. And then we got the U.S. women versus Sweden. They've been limping around, and they got eliminated in penalties, 50-50.
Were they limping around? This is an interesting. I feel like this is pretty interesting. Like it's like a weird soccer thing. Like the U.S. team, they deserve to win every game they were in. They really underperformed their expected goals dramatically. But yet, so you could say on the one hand they played pretty well and just got unlucky. On the other hand, you felt like they just didn't have it. Like it didn't feel like they were really flowing, and a lot of Alex. There was a lot of complaints by people who follow this team much more intensely than I do about lack of substitutions and having a lot of people that were long in the tooth and not giving young talent enough chances, blah, blah, blah. But I thought what was interesting was like, what is it? And what's the chicken and what's the egg? Is it like, do they look like they don't click because they don't score? Or do they not click because they don't score? If they just score, is it luck? Is it just being, or is it like an expression of something? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, riddle me this. Do you know how many times the U.S. women substituted during the Netherlands game, a game they really struggled in?
Yeah, not a lot.
Once. Not
until late. Yeah.
There was one sub late. What is that? What is that? what does that communicate?
No, I
to
think
your
there's
team?
a lot of things like that you could say that they're, like, I mean, in the Sweden game, Christy Muse, her first touch of the entire tournament was the penalty she had to take in the shootout. That's crazy. You can't do that. That's insane.
Yeah. And then Megan
And she
Rapinoe
made
stepped
it. I
up,
mean,
and
she made it, to her
Megan
credit.
Rapinoe
But like,
skied it. Yeah.
yeah, and I think Megan Rapinoe, who is a legend, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think should necessarily should probably have just not gotten as much time as she got. Like, she was pretty ineffective off the bench.
Hmm.
And then shanked her penalty kick. Yeah, unfortunate for them. And then there was something about Sebas is saying he's happy that the USA lost. Alexi Lalas was tweeting about how a lot of people don't like this team anymore. What's up with that? What's the problem?
Well, I'll tell you all the stuff that I hear on Twitter. Oh, sorry, New England just missed their first thing. Sorry, I'm looking at the New England Querétaro penalties. But I lost my train of thought. Everything I hear on Twitter about the negativity, I never see. I only see the response to the negativity. Am I doing Twitter wrong? Like, all
What do
I
you
see
mean?
are people. All I see when I hear stuff like what you just said is I go on Twitter and it's a bunch of people being like, "Why are people bashing the U.S. women and wanting to?" All I see is that take. I never see a bunch of tweets where people are like,
The
"Good, I'm glad they
original
lost."
people,
Good.
right?
So, am I doing Twitter wrong, or is it are people making mountain of a molehill? And it's not just this. It's an example of what Twitter's always like for me. All I'm seeing are people responding to what people supposedly did, but I
Well,
never ever see the original thing that anyone ever did.
I think a lot of that is, people are looking to stir things up because that's what drives engagement, I guess. So yeah, if there's you have one person maybe saying something like that, and then you have 18 people diving in to blow it up. Yeah, I think that's definitely true. I don't think that's you doing Twitter wrong. That's just how social media works.
I know people didn't like Vlatko for whatever reason. I mean, he was not. I didn't think he was an amazing coach from what little I saw. And yeah, I guess this team it's got a Alex Morgan and Megan Rapinoe. They won 2 World Cups in a row. Like, that's their time
All
should
right.
have probably been done earlier, maybe. But the way national team, because Sophia Smith at 18 is crushing it up, and Trinity Rodman's crushing it up. Like, there is a great new generation of players that maybe aren't being given the minutes they need. And we're in a transitional period, and maybe the happiness is going to force the old guard to retire, force to get a new coach, and force them to refresh a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's a breath of fresh air people want.
Well, and clearly
I'm
the
not
rest of
against that.
the rest of the world has caught up. These other teams are very. I mean, Japan. What I've seen of Japan is incredibly.
I would love for them to win.
Tactically well set up team.
Update. Querétaro have just eliminated the New York Revolution, the New England Revolution.
The New York Revolution.
Revolution. That's what
the
we
New
need
York
in New York.
Revolution.
Is
that's what the Red Bulls are going to be called after the takeover? The New York Revolution.
After I buy them and I sign
New
Cristiano
York
Ronaldo,
Cosmos Revolution.
Revolution Metros. SC.
The New York Cosmos Revolution Metros.
SC Soccer Club, because it's America. There's no FC here. It's SC. Soon.
David Riccio is right. You can't just miss the goal on penalties. It seemed like not that I need to defend them, but like it seemed like the approach of the whole team was to put the penalty, to not worry about what the keeper is doing and just put the penalty in a spot where the keeper couldn't get to it. And I think that's always a valid approach versus like psyching yourself up by looking to see where the keeper, But then people don't take into account that your body does not work the same when you're in this situation. So you're not like putting it in the same. So the shot that you've made 100 times in training feels different when you're in a round of 16 penalty shootout in a World Cup. So then things just go away.
Yeah, it's Jurgen Klopp was asked once in like a Liverpool Q&A with a bunch of kids on YouTube about, it's like, I miss penalties. How do I do penalties or whatever? And Jurgen Klopp is like, there is a point on the goal where you can kick that the goalkeeper cannot get to. That's science.
Right.
Like you can do that. However, it's like you can practice as much as you want. It's like when it's game time and the crowd is there and you're 90 minutes tired and everyone's looking at you and your brain is just a popcorn at that moment and so much is going through your mind. You know what I mean? It's like there's too many variables. There's nothing you can do about that sometimes. It's just like, right. Megan Rapinoe, we call it pomacoling it. He pomacoled it. He Paxton pomacoled it.
She pomacoled it before that even was a thing.
Yeah. She packed.
David Reach is saying this has been a great tournament to watch, and I agree. I wish it wasn't all happening at 3 a.m. I have not seen as much of it as I wanted. Now Sebas is saying that the women's national team, they disrespected the USA national anthem, not going to support a team that does that. I mean, you're talking about Megan Rapinoe kneeling, or
I don't know what that's about.
I'm not sure what he's referring to.
But each their own. If it bothers you, whatever. I think people are allowed to do whatever they want. I don't know. I know the league.
You think people are allowed to do whatever they want, except
freedom.
You said earlier, knives out is no good so there's some limits.
Well, technically they're free to do that. I'm saying don't do that. I didn't say that they can do that if they want to. All I'm saying is a free country with sort of freedom.
You're just saying you can do whatever. People can do whatever.
Free means as a person you're allowed to make decisions that other people wouldn't like, and vice versa.
That's within limits. Within limits, obviously.
Sure.
If knife or gun violence is involved, there's some.
I mean, knife and gun violence is legal in a lot of states.
Well,
it's a free country. I'm not saying you should do it, but I'm saying in some places there's freedom to do it. However, the league voted on this in response to the kneelings a few years ago. The league voted on if you don't sing the national anthem, you're banned, or some crap. Where they forced players to be patriotic. I don't know what that's about. That's very Stasi to me, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you should. Yeah, people can.
They rolled that policy back, but when it happened, I was like, "What the fuck is this shit?" Pardon my French. This isn't fucking the Stasi. They're allowed to do whatever you want, right? Or am I wrong? I don't know.
Sebas is pivoting and saying that the Swedish women are very cute in his opinion.
You know what? I hate to turn that conversation, but there are definitely some nice-looking ladies out there. One of the Moroccan ladies is really
God.
Pretty. We shouldn't talk about that. This is
political.
But they're athletes. They're athletes.
These are both. We're like, I think this is probably where we should end the show. We're like hitting a dead end after the other. We're getting into political discourse, and now we're like rating the women's national teams based on their.
Let freedom ring, Bjorn. Let freedom ring.
We're gonna quit while we're ahead here.
Now rooting for Japan because Japanese fans, the best fans, are very polite.
Is Harry Kane going to Bayern, Stefan? Is Harry Kane going to Bayern? You hope not.
I hope not.
They're made for each other. What are you talking about? They're made for each other.
No. Harry Kane, too old, too expensive. Go get Victor Osimhen for the same price.
Match made in heaven. Match made in heaven.
Not made in heaven. No. Fuck Harry Kane. Fuck Daniel Levy. Tell him to keep their shit. Anyway. Bayern München gets themselves a younger number 9. Or how about this? Go make one. Huh? Go to the academies.
Go make one with one of the Swedish players.
Mach in. Get the next Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Bayern München have an Ibrahimovic, okay? They need to make the next Zlatan, right? They already have the Ibrahimovic. Now let's get the Zlatan. Okay.
All right.
There you go. Seba's bored, which means it's goodbye time. See you all next week. Bis nächste Woche. Have fun with the Leagues Cup.
Good night.
We'll see if anybody can stop the Messi train. Tschüss. Bis nächste Woche.